I have a thing for shoes. Maybe not like sneakerheads, but love is love, just with a different flavor. I'm into the history of shoes, the craftsmanship, and the old indigenous methods of creation, especially African techniques. Hello? Yes, we make shoes. So yeah, you pre-order, we craft, and then we courier them to you. Yeah. Sure, we'll send our banking details, and you take it from there. Sometimes I want to find new ideas from ancient designs. Like any researcher, I look for data just to build a case study. I can never find much about the history of African shoes online. Wait. We have an emergency. We need help finding sufficient information about the ancient African shoes recorded. Yeah, thank you for understanding, yeah? In the past few days, I went on a quest, as I had been for some time now, to figure out where shoes come from. And to my surprise, current research found evidence that might prove that shoes come from here. Well, not here, but somewhere here in South Africa. Let me give you a context. While I was trying to compile the script, I had to do a deep dive into research about the history of shoes in Africa as part of my topic. I found a couple of reliable sources, including journal papers that I ended up printing out. But I wasn't impressed by the unfairness done in literature. Most of these articles do mention Africa, though only focus on Egypt, as one of the places where shoes were started to be recognized and made popular. However, some research states that Armenia is the place where first shoes were discovered. Mesopotamia is the first during the ancient era, but shoes were not as popular as they were in Egypt. Egypt was civilized then. It would make sense that they had shoes alongside their fancy development that seemed way more complex than shoes. Plus, it was not only a symbol of status like in any other place. Even kids wore open shoes. Research says that, and I take it that might have meant that shoes did not face them out. It was not a new and noble creation like the Sphinx and pyramids. Now, there's research done that says that footwear tradition was also traced to the Copt. Wait, let us first take the question to the public. Tell me, how would you feel if someone, say you created a design, right? You invented a design, and then someone takes that design, maybe admires you for that design, and then expropriates it from you, and then they create their own version and do not credit you, and then they claim it to be their own. How would you react?
Like a crazy person.
Oh, well, if somebody appropriated one of my brainchildren or brainchild, I highly doubt I'd feel ecstatic about that. As a reference or example, let's say I spent a couple of months or I spent a year developing that idea, and then out of the blue, a person just takes it within like 5 minutes or so, whatever amount of time they took it, it wouldn't feel well. It wouldn't bode well with me at all. So
I'll be very frustrated because it took a lot of time, it took a lot of energy, and a whole lot of me basically putting it into reality, and then someone takes it out like that. It would really frustrate me. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me now, how do you feel about the African invention that were taken by the Westerners, and then they made it their own, right? And they did not credit Africans for it.
You know what I've realized with people, as an artist, I do music, right? What I've realized with people who take people's things, do you know that people that listen or people that like fashion, they want to go back and find out who did that and what happened. Now it's you actually outgrowing yourself even more from what they took from you. People want to see the bigger picture, why it happened and all of that. So you get to grow more. So regarding people like the Western side of the people that took the African look, the African style, it actually means that they admire us, just like you said it. They see the vision. They see the impacts that we're doing to the whole world. So it's a matter of fact of us growing even more, because the more you take someone's thing, I believe that it's more people are like, you know what, let me grow out of it and then create more. So it's sad, but then we are out there.
That's unfair and it's unfortunate that so much art was taken from our lands to other countries and people had to claim them. There are a couple of brands I could tell you, I don't want to be sued, but there are a couple of brands that took a whole lot of things out of South Africa and Africa, then they made them to be theirs, and nobody says this is from Africa. The Seshweshwe blanket, for instance, that's European. Yes, it came with Queen Victoria, and gave it to Moshweshwe and all that, but they had to take it back again and say, no, this is ours. Then Debele, Kobo, Yaman Debele, Batlile Gape, they took it, they made it theirs. The stamp there, it's written Brazil or something of that sort. So you can, it's sad, because everything that we work for and everything that is ours, it turns around to be a European thing or a white thing, where else it's actually African, and nobody gets credit for it. It's unfair and unfortunate. But until we get ourselves okay and try to find ways of protecting our art, that we'll just have to wait.
In all honesty, that does it does need a bit of research first and foremost, so you can pinpoint and be very specific in what we are claiming that is ours. But now, if you do have proof, facts and proof that this is an African design, there should be another way or another due process to try and basically reimburse, reappropriate that technology or designs or whatever the case may be.
So my point with all this is, there's only a superficial information about the existence of prehistoric, ancient and Middle Age shoes. Even though it is mentioned in these articles, it's likely they're just trying to establish it by brushing it off. As soon as they talk about the Middle Age shoes in Greece and Rome, they even include different names, designs and quotes about them. And the information can be so detailed you forget about the base. It's like the information you learned in primary school, now cemented over by the latest information you gathered over the years. It hurts, because from what I'm gathering, shoes started in Africa, and to be exact, in the Southern Africa, as the latest data proves. If the reasons for the Europeans in the Mediterranean to make shoes was because of conditions, I think the entire world has conditions. Secondly, the common material used for shoes since then was leather. Leather is from cowhide, and we must have a handful of that. Egypt wasn't the only place civilized then, I believe. If pyramids were built by Nubians, currently South Sudanese, they too made part of the Copt. This means they might have had shoes. This meant from Ethiopia and all other places. I think Africans then are known for moving, and so they might have encountered each other, probably traded, if not influenced each other. And I'm sure these shoes had names. They just ignored them, just like they neglected or hidden or discarded most of this info in these research papers. So, finally, after what felt like centuries, the latest research on South African shoes is, well, much more uplifting, like a pair of stilettos. The first shoes were discovered here. Plus, we also have the current scent shoes, which are now called Filskoen. But here's a kicker. There's barely any research that gives Africa its well-deserved credit for inventing these shoes. And remember how human cognition supposedly started here. Suddenly, it's like we forgot how to even tie our own laces. If we invented the first tools, which then created the first fashion, why would we skip over shoes? Like seriously. If the terrain wasn't exactly a red carpet, wouldn't they need shoes? And the fact that the ethnologists are using the koi and scent design to remodel the first shoes discovered in South Africa, that should tell you something. Maybe, just maybe, it's because it was a thing back then.